welcome to Phoenix Rising. My guest today is Angelo Lyons, Mark with a K.
Mark with a K.
Okay.
Lyons with a
Mal,
Y. Mal
otherwise
for
known
short.
as Mal for short. And you have seen us together before, and we always have such a wonderful time. And you consistently impart knowledge, wisdom, with a sense of humor, and we always laugh ourselves silly on here.
We do.
So I'm first going to have my dear friend tell you what's coming up. I know you have YouTube and classes and things going on, so fill us all in
All right.
on the good stuff. What's happening?
Well, so for the people who've maybe not seen me before, I've been a thing on Long Island, spirituality and metaphysics. A thing.
A presence.
It's a presence. I mean, Body, Mind, and Soul in Huntington back in the 90s. Pillars of Light. I mean, I have taught...
Silver Broom.
Silver Broom. I used to work at Borders, and I used to teach at Borders Books and Music when that was a thing. And then the Silver Broom closed a couple of years ago, pretty much right before the pandemic hit. And my whole career got obliterated, and I had to start from scratch again. And I found myself doing readings on YouTube. I already had a YouTube channel for spiritual teaching, but then I started doing general reads. I did Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and I'm really apparently good, whatever.
Well, you are. You're gifted, and you get out of your own way. When you're doing a reading, you get out of your own way, which is how it has to be.
Well, but considering the pandemic, I was totally set up for that before the pandemic hit, because I already live alone and work from home. Live alone with my 3 beautiful black cats, my 3 boys. Follow me on Instagram. There's always a picture of them on there. But then in November of last year, I made the jump to Patreon, which is great, big, huge. Patreon is a subscription service where you can, it's brilliant for artists, where you can set different tiers of subscription and give them different benefits so that people pay you once a month automatically, and it's amazing.
I'm going to have to look into
that. It's a lot of fun.
That would be really great.
I every morning I stream every single morning on Patreon and check in with people and talk about the lunar astrology for the day, because that pretty much changes every day. But also on Facebook, the Drawing the Circle Productions. Drawing the Circle Productions is my company that I started 1998.
Wow. May
1st, Beltane, 1998. I guess it'll be 24 years or something this year.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So we've had the Facebook page forever, but now we can do Zoom events there. So I've been teaching Monday nights on witchcraft, Craft of the Wise. Tuesday nights, Human Hero, Immortal God, which is my take on spiritual evolution. And then Thursday nights, Path of True Love, which we've talked about on this show before.
Yes, we've had.
The hero's journey, the healing journey, the spiritual path through your relationships. And now I didn't know I was going to do this when I started doing the classes, because I was like, I want to teach and no one's leaving their house, so let's take advantage of Zoom, and I did. Now it's a podcast, the Mal Pod. Yay, the Mal Pod. So yeah, I'm cranking out content. But if people saw what I go through every morning before I get on camera, imagine having to do this every day.
It's a lot. It really is a lot.
But I will say this. I used to be a minister with the Silver Broom Ministries, a founding member. I'm no longer affiliated. I retired. I defrocked myself.
Yeah.
You can frock yourself, but to defrock yourself takes skill.
Yes, it does.
Get frocked. So that archetype, that priest-minister archetype, I'll still minister to people, but I never want to do another wedding. Baby blessings are fine. Anybody can do a baby blessing. But I was an artist before then. I went to the Boston Conservatory of Music, Dance, and Theater. I trained on Long Island, went to Usedown, went to Arena Players in Farmingdale. Like growing up as a teenager, I was such a full-force artist. And then my spiritual calling came. That all took the back seat. And then when I became do you remember the waybacks from the station wagons?
Yeah.
Where you'd put the dogs or the annoying kids. It's like, you go sit in the wayback. That's where my artist had been, only coming out to do event production. And but then when I removed the collar, so to speak,
and found yourself,
that artist came back full force. And I'm a mystical artist.
Yeah.
I'm here to help. I am what do I say on YouTube every day, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions since 1998, author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch on Kindle.
Which is amazing.
It's a good book.
It's a really good book.
It's my legacy.
And I thank you for sending it to me. Well, the proofreading time. That was really an honor, and
your review is in the book.
This is something you really need to treat yourself to.
And it's on Kindle, Words of Grace. It's the only Words of Grace from a professional witch you're going to find anywhere.
I love the way that you teach, and we've covered this one topic over and over again because I feel that it's not stupidity, but there's an ignorance in the general public as to people tend to put anyone that's not Judeo-Christian, they put us all into a very strange pile. People really don't comprehend pagan, Wiccan, Wicca, Satanism. They don't know what to do with it.
Because that's how they were raised, with that other mentality, meaning that it's us and everybody
the
else.
bad guys, and it's the bad guys.
Well,
there was a client I had, we were laughing about this the other night, because some people understand titles, labels, and things like that. And I mean, being a witch and I am from generations. It was my grandmother, and I know it goes back further than her, and my mother, and I believe I had said to you probably on camera before, people used to come to my mom, and she would read their cards for them. But she would use a regular deck of 52.
Yeah.
So if you came in and you were a light-haired guy, she'd pull whatever resonated between her, the card, and you. She'd pull the jack or the king, depending on your age, of diamonds or hearts. And then she would have you shuffle the 3 decks, and you pick a certain pile, and she would create what she called the bed. And maybe I'll practice it, and I'll do it with you next time. And she would put together the bed around that main card and read. And I'd come home from school, and the neighbors would be in the house. She'd be in the kitchen with someone. Everyone else would be in the living room. And people would come in, sit down, have coffee, mandel bread, biscotti to others. And she would read cards. And as I was coming into my own, someone had said to me, "You have the same eyes as your mother," because they're gray-green. And it's really interesting when you look into someone's eyes, because you're looking into the soul. And before we did the last show, there was an Edgar Allan Poe festival on Main Street in Riverhead. And I was doing it at the Green Earth Natural Foods, and East End Arts Council asked me if I would read Edgar Allan Poe. Oh boy, I was so happy. So I put on my robes, and we had a lectern set up, and people would come in, and I was reading The Mirror, pieces that I had, were not the normal mainstream pieces.
Evermore.
Which, I did not read that because everyone knows that. So the pieces I read were just so stunning and so beautiful. And we took a break, and there was a gentleman at Green Earth that his energy was very off-putting. I had to ask this person in particular to not come to any more Reiki circles because he was very predatory toward the young girls. And it was like, this is not what Reiki and healing is about. You cannot come in here. This is not welcome.
Yeah.
If you can't behave, you can't come here.
Especially around the vulnerable and energy sensitive.
Oh, you can't do it. So I was standing outside taking a break, speaking to a friend, Tom, who was standing to my right. And this individual was selling food for Steve. And Steve he's such a kind person, so oblivious to the negativity that this individual had. And this individual is much taller than me. And it's a negative presence for me. So and he knew I would not acknowledge him anymore. Hello or goodbye, just, you're there, you stay there, I wish you no harm, just stay away from me. And he came over and put his arm around me, touching me, you got it, and looked down at me and said in a drunken slurring voice, "Kiss me."
Silver knuckles, man.
Yeah, whoa. And
no.
And my friend Tom said, "Feeny, I never saw that happen to you or anyone." So I did a shapeshift. Immediately, I turned into a dragon. And I felt it. I didn't know anyone could see it. And as soon as he touched me and he said that, it was like, I don't want to do too much on camera and scare the
Yeah, yeah,
viewers.
yeah.
But really, I am me. You know me. And I said, "Get the blankety blank away from me." But I said it from a voice that I was not familiar with. And this very big man, I could just describe it as Charlie Chaplin running down the street, like with his knees together and his feet moving very fast. And he went down Main Street, and Tom looked at me in shock and awe, and he said, "Phoenix, flames came out of your eyes." And I said, "I'm sorry you had to see that."
I'm not.
And I wasn't,
Woman of power,
because
I'm
I
not,
thought
yeah.
that was like well contained. But I think we all have that in us. When you're brave enough to acknowledge your boundaries and someone is coming in, the warrior goddess, that dragon queen, stepped out and said, "Not today, Satan."
Well, and you're talking about how people classify witches as not just other, but as evil. And I was thinking about this on the drive-in today.
To me, that was evil.
What the guy was just
Yes.
crossing people's boundaries accidentally is one thing. Crossing someone's boundaries deliberately when you know that's their boundary, that's where stuff gets tricky. My favorite author, Terry Pratchett, in a couple of his books, he said, evil begins when you start to think of people as things. Starts there, and everybody has that thought, but what do you do with it, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about, witches, and my first exposure to witchcraft really wasn't Samantha Stevens. If I think about it, she was like the fun one.
Yeah.
Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman, zombie,
The out of the societal norm.
and a witch. So we are classified as monsters.
Yeah.
That's how I was terrified of witches for a hot second. It did not last long.
As a child, I used to go either by myself or with friends, and we made up a witch song. The witches are coming, hurrah, hurrah. When I was about 10 years
hooray,
old.
hooray, the
And
witches
we,
are
in
coming.
Kew Garden Hills, this lovely little neighborhood, and we used to hold hands and go in the middle of the street and sing our song. That's when I take it back. And the one client, she was in my office in Riverhead, and I was doing a chakra illumination with her, and I was just finishing smoothing down her energy field. And she looked up at me, which is a surprise when you're working on someone and they're out, but it was just so cute the way she looked up, and because I was close to her shoulders. And I was like, "Hi, what's up?" And she said, "You're a witch." But
You're
it was
perceptive.
done so sweet. And I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "I knew it." And then she went, "Ah." But she knew it. She sensed it before she even came in the office.
Yeah, you didn't
And
have a
she
big
knew,
blazing
she knew it
tentacle
wasn't
spinning
this
on the wall.
green lady with a water on her nose. And what was that thing that they used to do to us? That we're going to tie rocks to you and throw you into this thing of water. So if you sink and drown,
You're not a
guilty.
witch.
You were a witch. But if you rise up after you're
No.
dead,
No. If you
we were dead either
float,
way.
you're a witch.
Yeah.
I'm getting serious, Monty Python.
Yes. When you
The Holy
float up
Grail.
dead, you were a witch, but you're
to a newt.
And
But
if you sank,
then you're innocent.
innocent, but you were dead
But you're
either
dead.
way.
Exactly. We're looking at hatred of women. We are looking at the demonization of feminine energy because
And
witch is
other
a
women turned other women in that they were jealous of or didn't like.
political.
Mothers turned daughters in.
But misogyny is just not for men. Misogyny is
not.
for women too, and I see a lot of that. And that's why, witch is a gender neutral word. It's not
There's
warlock.
no such thing as a warlock.
Well, there is such a thing as a warlock. There are plenty of male and female witches that call themselves warlocks. I don't adopt the term because I'm a Virgo. I look up the original meanings of words, and to the best that I could find, it means oath breaker. And I'm not an oath breaker. I live by my vows, my oaths, and my promises. Wasn't always like that. Who the hell is? But so many oaths, vows, and promises have been broken to me that's verboten for me now. But to understand, which is a wise person, it comes from being witty. And that we are with our purple hair, purple hair brigade.
And we're unique, and we're so different. But
And
we
we're
are
supposed to be.
attracted to each other.
Why?
Our tribal community, as we grow and hopefully evolve in this physical lifetime, is no matter what physical, chronological age we are, how long we've been here, as we move through the different physical places, we are leaving like little stardust breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
And our tribal family recognizes it. And it's like, oh, here he comes, here she comes. Oh, wait, I saw them go there. Let me go catch up and say hi again.
Well, and now during a pandemic, that's not as available, but that's why we've seen, I mean, I was trying to live stream through my own website, God, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe longer. And it cost thousands and thousands of dollars just to set everything up. I was like, nope. And now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Now you get it for free. I mean, I'm taking clients on Facebook video calls like almost every day. Zoom, if they want to record it, they can record it on their end.
Right.
But I think that as much as, everything in this world is neutral according to A Course in Miracles. And yes, I am a witch who studies A Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
Because why not? If it works, and it does work
And
for
it
me.
works beautifully.
It says everything in this world is neutral, but what are you using it for? Right? What is it for? So the internet, we've seen a lot of cray-cray. Every single day, we see the cray-cray. But yet it allows me to have lovely clients around the world. I've got clients, I just read a woman from Ireland, Galway, last week.
Oh, I read your note about her who just was adorable.
It was just wonderful. And I've got a group of British women who hired me for a tarot party, a birthday party for a Sagittarian in December.
Yeah.
So much, and they wanted me to
have
drink
so
with
much
them. We
fun.
had so much fun that, it's all how we want to use it. Now, I'm well aware of what's going on politically. I do not bury my head in the sand. I need to know, a witch does need to know what's going on, we don't have to be watching CNN all day long. But if somebody comes to the witch, and I said this to you before, the witch can't go door to door.
No.
If I checked in on every single person, I would get nothing else done.
No, I can't.
I can't. You have to come to, I literally live in the woods, so to speak, in Holbrook.
Yeah.
So if you're going to come, you have to come to the witch. But I also know right now the best thing that we can do is to help and to serve without that physical proximity. It's less intimate. And on the internet, there is such, I don't want to call it psychic static, misinformation we've heard over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's still a tool, like the element of fire,
Mm-hmm.
right? My lighter's over in my bag, but if I had a lighter, I would flick my Bic. That's BIC,
Yeah.
folks. Let's keep it clean, right? I did this in class all the time. I'd hit the lighter. I'd go, okay, pop quiz, good or evil.
What's your perspective?
What am I going to do with it? I could burn the house down, or I could light a candle and pray for you. Maybe both.
Yeah.
It depends on where I am that day. I am a Pisces moon.
Yeah. We never know.
Go from dolphin to shark in a
Yeah.
blink of an eye. But that's where I feel like we are right now as witches. And you bring up an important thing about tribes. Tribal conscious. I've never really been tribal. A tribe is 3 people or more. So your circle of friends is a tribe, right? Of course, your nationality is tribal, DNA, genetic. Your sports team, right?
It's community.
It's right. And so we are seeing so much of that dynamic being challenged right now because all of that is managed in the root chakra. Anatomy of the Spirit by Carolyn Mace was a pivotal book. All of her work is for me, honestly. And she takes the 7 chakras and she puts them with the 7 sacraments of Christianity and the 7 levels of the tree of the Kabbalah. I added the 8 Sabbats of the Wheel of the Year with the Samhain over the head as the 8th chakra. And so look what we're going through physically on this planet and how everything is so tribal. And yet, according to Carolyn Mace, Anatomy of the Spirit, every chakra has a sacred truth, which is truth no matter what is going on. It's still the truth. We are all is one. 3 words, all is one. And I think that's what this pandemic is teaching us. It's like, oh, you're all one. You can't not be one. You can believe you're not. That doesn't change it. You can believe you're an avocado.
Your
you're
opinion
not.
is not a fact.
It's location, location, location.
Yeah.
The sun does not rise in the east and set in the west. It just looks like it does. The planet turns, right? As the world turns. Well, I think that's because, when the pandemic first hit, we were all scrambling.
No one knew really
do
what end was up.
I said this to somebody yesterday. Do you remember spraying down your boxes from Amazon with bleach? They're like, yes. I was like, me too. This is scorching
Before
heat.
the groceries came in, everything was wiped down. I was like, ridiculous.
We're way beyond that at this point, hopefully.
Yeah.
But it is this opportunity that we have to say, well, we really are all one. And since we can't get out there in the world like we want to, it's really, in my opinion, that we start really going in. Marianne Williamson did a lecture. I always met her twice. She's this tall, so powerful. I love her.
Yeah.
I love her. She did had it on audio cassette.
Okay,
Now,
that
children
goes back a
know
while.
these things. They were called audio cassettes, and you would get a pen to rewind
I was
them.
just going to give you the pen. Because when
Back
you
in
take
my
it out,
day.
the machine was eating your tape.
Yeah, right. Remember Walkmans? Yeah.
Yes, I do, sadly.
Where was I going? It totally
Yeah.
derailed. What was I saying? Oh, and the name of the lecture was Yin, Y-I-N, activism. Yin activism, because, the protests, what are they doing? Like, I would love to see a protest actually change something it used to. Well, I was born in 1968. I was born in that vibe.
Yes, you were.
But now it's like we've had all these marches and all of these things, and how many things actually change? Well, the outside is the effect, the yang. The inside is the cause, the yin. As within, so without. As above, so below. I mean, the ceremonial magicians just went, hey, I know that, right? So the emerald tablets, whatever. Law of attraction, whatever you want to call it. And I have to say that we are facing our collective shadow, but everybody's got a piece of that collective shadow. So the amount of hatred on the planet. When I find myself feeling hatred, I go, okay, here's my piece of it. And I don't act on it. What do I say on camera all the time? I say, you got to feel it. Just don't burn down the village. Right?
You have to acknowledge it, because we keep stuffing things, and many people keep stuffing things, you're going to end up regurgitating all of this hatred.
It goes into what is psychologically as well as spiritually called the shadow. And then when you least expect it, the shadow possesses you. It's called shadow possession. There's a wonderful movie created by Debbie Ford, Hay House author, but many other things. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us on planet Earth, called The Shadow Effect. You can find it on YouTube.
Book, it has a pale blue and white
there's
background.
a movie.
Yes.
The movie, well, it's like The Secret, but for shadow work.
Yeah.
And, it's shadow work 101, but it is that thing of, I know how I get when I'm burned out, when I'm creatively burned out, when I haven't been maybe eating, because I live alone. I've been living in a sea of anarchy. I've been swimming in a sea of anarchy. I've been living on coffee and nicotine, all right? Because I'm a full-time artist now. But I know if I don't keep current with the emotional content, I'm a Pisces moon, empath. What I'm feeling, I know, could be someone down the block.
And that's what's been, how my things have been changing, I guess probably also due to COVID putting us in a different place, is when I would do a reading for a human or another species, cat, dog, or horse usually, in the past, if I couldn't be with the person, I would say, I usually don't meet the human, I would say, send me a picture of your dog or your cat, because I like to have that to focus on. And lately, and it's not I think it's a good thing, it is a good thing. A friend who has also been on the show, she's an amazing woman. She's a Narcan educator, but very empathic. And she sent me a text the other night, can you ring me? So I rang her, and it was like really different. It was like, what is going on? And it was her husband's nephew had crossed over. And out of nowhere, not even getting the chance to ask for pictures, I'm standing in my kitchen and I'm making my dinner thinking we're just going to have a little conversation. When are we getting together, for Japanese food? And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, he's in this hospital bed. And who is the tall, skinny female energy built like olive oil? And the goosebumps are starting again. And she said, oh my God, that's the great aunt who'd crossed over. I said, in facing his bed, here go the goosebumps again. There were 3 beings there. I said, his body looked like it was suffering. He wasn't suffering. So when they want to come in and guide you to someone that's come to you for a reading that's over in Ireland.
Oh yeah, no,
You know,
we're all one.
we are all one, and the
And
messages. And when Lindsay was saying something, that the show we did earlier with this lovely gentleman, Jay Shepard, really great musician, and he said something about his dog, and it was like, and I feel the nausea of all this water in me, around me. And I said, somebody tried to drown her, the dog. So, and this has happened to me when I would be doing a show with Joe Giaquinto. The sensory things that we're gifted with, how they work through you and the decks of cards, they are tools. I gave one of my new students a pendulum yesterday. And I said, the pendulum itself is not speaking to you. I want you to keep it on your person, bond with it. Let it get accustomed to your energy. Your spirit guides, your beloveds, will tell you yes or no.
well, and they
through
work
this.
through your autonomic nervous system. It's a wiring
He
system.
put it in his pocket.
Uh-huh.
It has to be one of the most beautiful pendulums I've ever gifted anyone with. I wanted it myself.
Well, I
but
was going to say, what are you, nuts? Giving away good rocks?
So I have mine. Mine came to me the same way. It was I'm yours. Someone had just handed me a specific amount of money, and I was in this place, and I see this pendulum, and it ends up, I know the woman that put it together. She's an amazing person, and I said, how much is that? And the gentleman told me how much. He said, but for you, and it was like, no, this is absolute divine. This person gave me this amount. It's to here. Don't give me a discount on this. This is one of those meant to be moments. And that pendulum, when I'm in my office and the person is lying down, eyes closed, in a meditation or hypnotized, and you don't have to speak out loud to your pendulum, and I'll say, will you work with me with so-and-so today? For me, I program straight lines are yes, circles are no's. And if I'm not meant to know, you'll see it just lying there like a quiver.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't need to know this.
Neutral.
Right. So, and I said, you program yours, because what he does is he does clockwise as a yes, counterclockwise as a no. I said, for me, I need it broken up even greater. And that pendulum will tell me yes or no. And then what I do is I put it right on the third eye of the person. And I've had a client, we videotaped this. He brought in a tripod to make sure my hand is not moving, because I'm ridiculous like that. I want to make sure I am not having any of my own input in this. And so we recorded it. And there it is in his forehead. It looks like it's drilling in. You have to try it on your hand. It's just so beautiful. And then the chain will pull away from my hand, which I have no way of doing, even if I was manipulating. And you see it do these insanely beautiful movements. And the person will tell me, I saw this color and I felt this wave go through. And when I take it off, sometimes it's almost as if they have a magnet in the third eye and I'm pulling the other magnet off.
I mean, it does make sense. Every chakra is an energy field unto itself, and they turn. So there is a centrifugal and centripetal force output, putting it out. So of course an energy device is going to pick up on that. I mean, it's subtle energy, but it's there.
It's really, really beautiful.
So when I'm talking, like if you look up the word empath, and you'll see how many different definitions there are, because now there's narcissist versus empath, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking empathy. Social empathy is, oh my God, I'm so sorry, and you feel it, right?
Yes.
Compassion is, oh, I understand. A lot of compassion is up here, which is lovely. But empathy is, particularly if you've been through.
Yeah.
Everybody's been through loss. So everybody can have empathy about loss. Yeah. But I am talking energetic, vibrational, intuitive empathy, which is when you're feeling other people's stuff in your cell tissue. Yeah. And if you don't know that's what's happening, you think it's all you, and what's wrong with me?
I think there's something
wrong with me. And the more you heal, it's not like that goes away. I've empathed the planet. I've had my leg, usually this leg, well, somebody kick stuff over, which I'll be like,
It'll just do its dance.
too much coffee? What? What's going on? And meanwhile, I'll find out like 48 hours later, oh, right at that time, there was an earthquake in Myanmar, right? I'm like, here's the best way to explain physical empathy, because I'm a Virgo. I get it very viscerally. Like, I feel it in my body. I'm like, what's going on? You know, I'll take an Alka-Seltzer. I'll take a nap. It's still not there. And they explained it, my guides explained it. It goes, well, if you're sitting on the floor in this room and 3 rooms away somebody drops a bowling ball on the floor, you're going to feel it.
Yes, your vibration.
But then they take it a step further and say, there's only one of you here. There's only one spirit. There's only one vibration. The rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, Roy G. Biv is how I learned it. I don't think they teach Roy G. Biv anymore, which is a shame. I wanted to date Roy G. Biv. Very colorful personality. But it is white light. There is no spectrum of color. It's all one thing, but that's the illusion of separation. The illusion of separation is the first and greatest illusion because it's what we need to come down here.
Yeah.
But then look what happens to beings who come in with unity consciousness, meaning that they are not just aware up here that we're all, because we're all one. We're all one. Let's have a third eye conversation.
Like lip service. Thank you.
That's the divine masculine part of it. The third eye is divine masculine, the heart is divine feminine, and the throat chakra is the baby in between. Daddy up here, mommy up here, and this is the one that speaks, that makes the choices, that either heals or not, choices and decisions, all that stuff. And so to really understand that each and every one of us right now have the opportunity to help heal this planet by healing ourselves, not in the narcissistic model of tweezing out emotions and seeing, oh, what past life is this from? Oh, yes, in a past life, I was burned at the stake. Honey, everybody was burned at the stake.
When I do a past life regression, I make it very clear to the individual. And if you don't want to come to me, you don't have to. As we talked earlier about, people will go to different psychic mediums, witches, astrologers, doctors, until they get the answer that they want.
It's called the tarot junkie, I call them.
Don't bother doing this, you know.
Because if every single one of them is telling you the same thing. See, this is why I charge for my services. I've never turned anybody away because of lack of funds, ever. I make them swear to pay it forward. Just pay it forward to somebody. Just help somebody do something, because energy's got to keep moving. It will anyway. But that's why I charge $100 an hour.
Same here.
Because it's like because people do not show up with for $100 an hour they know what they want.
To me, so it's $100, $150 for an hour and a half.
Oh yeah.
And if you're coming to me for past life regression, which some people think is a hoot, it's not a hoot. It's very profound work. And when we talk about it, I tell them how I do it. I tell them who trained me, etc. I'm doing it 22 years now. And it's sacred work, and I love it. But I will do a past life regression for you to help you go back there to gather information to help you understand the path you're on today. I'm not going to go back and help you find out that your husband today was your boyfriend then. To me, that's really petty, and it's
entertaining.
If it's in there and it comes in, there's a purpose for it, you will learn it. I don't give you any idea of where you're going because I don't know where you're going.
Here's the thing, it may be interesting, but is it helpful? A lot of spiritual information is very interesting.
But is it helpful? The ones that I've been doing, the one that I did this past Saturday, I did 2 Saturday. And one woman, she had never been hypnotized before. And if you're watching when this goes aired, I thank you for being brave enough to take this step. Because she has a lot of stuff going on now, but she couldn't understand some things happening. Never hypnotized before, and I teased them. I said, well, you're not a virgin anymore. You did this. And in this regression, it was very upsetting to her because I start them with, when you are in that place, look at your feet. What do you see? Do you have feet? Because you don't know. You could have hooves. I've come across a few that have not been human in past lives.
I'm just hearing my left foot from Family Guy. I get my left foot. No.
So this one frightened her because she saw bones. So further along, and I said, do you want me to move you out? Because we make it interactive.
Yeah.
I'm your blind friend. I can't see what you're seeing. And she said, no, I'm not that scared, but I see bones. Turns out, through this hour, she was in a sanitarium. What she saw with the bones was an x-ray of her foot.
Oh.
She was there because someone had pushed her downstairs. She broke her leg and her foot. This woman, Gladys, was pushing her in a wheelchair outside this sanitarium. And sanitariums were not always used for mentally ill back in the day. They were used for people that had illnesses.
Yeah.
So she was there late 1800s, early 1900s to heal from this break. She heard her name being called, and it was just really interesting. You know, she saw the place. She even had the name of the place. I said, go home and research it. See if there was a sanitarium by that name in Manhattan back in those days. And I'll bet you there was. I'm going to check it out later today myself. So when she comes back, it takes a while to come out of it. You know, I have a blanket in the office. She's on the massage table, snuggled in the blanket, and, you know, coming back into her physical body, and this precious look on her face. And she said, can I tell you something? And you knew it was something she had to share. And this was a safe, sacred place to do it. And I said, of course you can. Because if I don't record the session, I take notes the whole time of the questions I ask. And most of the questions are the same. And everyone's experience is so unique and different. She said, since I've been a little kid, I've had a fascination with sanitariums.
Oh, wow.
Like wherever, when she'll go on vacation somewhere, she'll say, I'll leave family behind and I will go seek it out. They're closed down, they're by a cemetery. Yeah. She said, but there's a woman who's a darling, total vegan in this lifetime. Really can't figure out why. We did her regression, and she was in this factory in a big city with a slaughterhouse. And she was a single parent raising 2 children. This was the only work she could get to support her children. And in this lifetime, there was
that would turn anybody off. Yeah.
So
I'd like to add to that, though, with this unity thing, because we say, okay, there's only one of us here, but all time is now. All of your lives are happening now, so there's no past life, no future life. There's just now.
The second floor, the 100th floor.
It's all going on at the same time. Yeah. I studied with a student of Drunvalo Melchizedek. There's a name.
Yeah.
Drunvalo. Please don't make me spell Melchizedek. I'll probably get it wrong.
I see it, but I can't help you.
Eyes, that's a lot of flower of life.
Sacred geometry.
Sacred geometry, and I mean, it was a lot. That was math.
Yeah.
Don't make me do math. But one of the things that I really got out of that whole experience with all the sacred geometry and all this stuff up here is that we are multidimensional beings, right? And if all time is now, and we have, and this is the system they teach, 12 dimensions with 12 overtones per dimension. So think of a ruler.
Yeah.
12 inches with 12 segments of 1/12 an inch.
Right.
We exist simultaneously on all of those.
Yeah.
And my guides have been showing me, what do you think is at the first overtone of the first dimension? I'm like, I don't know. They're like, what if you called it the quark or the subatomic particle? You're soaking in it. I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they said, well, what do you think is the 12th overtone of the 12th dimension? I go, I don't know. They go, we call that the source wall, which is very DC Comics in its way, but that's another story. That on the other side of that is just pure unity. Like no thought, no emotion, just there's no place like Om, right? And so all of our lives, all of our experiences, it's not that we're interconnected. There's one of us. There's only one spirit. I've been saying this a lot lately. Everybody loves Bob Marley, one love, one heart, until it's about getting vaccinated, until it's about masks, until it's about how much melanin is in somebody's skin or where they come from. You have been everything. What you are racist against this life, you can guarantee you will come back as. To play both sides of it. But then comes the larger thing. That means nobody really dies. The soul is immortal. You don't have a soul. are a soul. And you go from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. Now, I don't recommend that people run too far with that, because it's like, well, then it doesn't matter. And that leads you to existential ennui and depression and all of that stuff. It's like, no, you came here to play a game. It's a video game. And the Course in Miracles says it best, good old Course in Miracles. And it puts it in masculine gender. It's just how it's written. The Son of God cannot sin in a dream. The truth of who we are, the actor behind the makeup. Carolyn Mace once said, you know, once you cross over, all the costume and the makeup of religion comes off, and you see what it really is.
You've done workshops on masks also, haven't you?
Yeah, not really. I mean, mud mask. That's my
mud
gig.
mask, right? Avocado mask. I've done the thing on masks, and for me, the thing with masks also falls into things I've taught in the past, talking about your personal rhythms, the rhythm of your breath, the rhythm of when each of us speak. We move our hands differently. It's our unique personal rhythm. How we sit facing each other in the chair and how we move back and forth. It's our own personal rhythm. My language, my affect in my speech is different than yours.
We're all going to...
And the masks we wear, it's like, is this a mask? Yes. Is it meant to cover anything up? I mean, no. This is the mask I wear when I'm on TV, because you don't want to see me without moisturizer and some mascara. No, you really don't. So when I'm in a professional setting, it's the professional mask. Is my core still the same? Yes, it is. Am I still there to do the very best I can for me and for you? Yes. If I can't do my best, I can't be with you.
I would like to give you a contemporary mystic's point of view, not my own. We're all born naked, and the rest is drag. Thank you, Saint RuPaul of the Drag Race.
That's right. I'm saying I know where that came from.
But like this is drag, and look, I have way too much body hair to do drag, that level of no. But my drag is witch drag, and it doesn't cover things up; it reveals things, and I think. Oh, if I can make a shout out, I know people may not know her here on Long Island. A dear tarot friend of mine, Nancy Antonucci, just wrote a book, Tarot Rituals, and she's doing stuff live here and there to promote the book, but obviously she's doing a lot of stuff. And she really embraced the drag thing. I'm not going to say I'm her drag mother. I'm not. Right. I'm not that. But I started sending her videos because we just started. We've never met face to face. We were supposed to do this year. Last year it didn't work. But she has really embraced it. And she's a woman a little older than me, but she's having so much fun with it that she's actually creating characters, right? And they're not phony. They're a part of who she is. And I'm not going to say too much. This is her creation. It's not a multiple
personality disorder. It's a personality enhancement. When we get dressed for the show today, so we look at what we're going to wear, and I knew yesterday that I wanted to be warm and snuggly and cuddly and wear my Uncle Fester shirt, which reminds me of Uncle Fester because he always had the thing, get me a light bulb. And there are times for who we are at our core, our essence is how do you decorate your home? What's the music that you are, that pulls you, that resonates within you? What is the style of clothing? So much of my stuff is tribal, ethnic, African, Native American, but much more African for me, always. I was telling the guys on my way here, I had on WPKN, and they had on the Japanese drumming. That Lindsay tried to call me on the phone, and I had the music up. If it was a little warmer, the top would have been down. Because how sound energizes you, how sound feeds your rhythm, your soul.
But we're all one with that too. Sound and light and vibration.
You are driving down the road and have that happiness and that joy, that pours out to everything, to the trees around you. The next show we do, I want to do something about communication with trees and plants.
Bring a plant and we'll James Redfield that thing.
Yes,
We'll Celestine
really
Prophecy.
Like
I've taught people how to do that.
I would love to do that.
You said something that's really important though, and this is for the empaths out there, the people who are, and I'm talking the people who are beginning to realize, I am feeling other people's stuff. And one of the ways to know this, which isn't great, if you are a people pleaser, what's happening, and people don't realize it, you're feeling what other people are feeling. It's making you uncomfortable, so you people please them, so they feel better, so you feel better. It's manipulation.
Yeah.
So people pleasers, chances are you might be an empath. You reverse the flow by blessing people. What Matt Kahn gave the words, it goes, right now the mission is bless the crap out of everybody and everything.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sometimes, my big revelation from last year.
Yes.
People like, well, do you hex people? Because when people know you're a witch, they will come to you and say, well, do you think we can get rid of them? I'm like, are you asking me to do a magical murder hit? I'm not.
Oh, I've never called it that,
It's
but
not
I
my
love that,
gig,
yeah.
right? I'm not doing that. But to the best curse that I know, and I won't do it to you directly, but it's 3 words. Here, I'll do it to this camera. And particularly watching TV, this is good. Like, it doesn't have to be to a literal person sitting in front of you. May you heal.
Look at the face.
Right, you got, but that's how you mean it.
May you
heal, because that's a blessing. May you heal.
Yeah.
But if somebody's all sorts of effed up, toxic, hurting people, may you heal. Did you ever see Penny Dreadful on Showtime?
Oh my God. Oh my
You do it
God.
verbis
Yes.
dialogue. May you heal.
That
Just
mindset comes from the place you have no idea you had within you.
Yeah, I love doing it. Makes muggles crap their pants. I love doing that.
Yes.
Vini vidi vici. I can't myself, right? Right. May you heal. So it's not a blessing, it's not a curse. So I've created.
It's just letting somebody own their own stuff.
But it is an energy movement, though. Just as much as Reiki, Shmeiki, eggs and bakey, whatever you do.
Right.
But it's not a blessing, it's not a curse. I call it a blurse.
It's a blur.
It's a blurse. Because, well, and they said, my guides have said to me, how many blessings have ended up being a curse and how many curses have ended up being a blessing?
It ends up what that person is doing with
location. Oh, I won $1 million. But I didn't deal with my addiction issues, so now, right?
Just inhale that whole thing.
Yeah.
When I got divorced, and your darling stepfather, right? So Zeus, and it was a very difficult marriage. It was a very dangerous place to be. So when we got divorced, people that knew him and knew me said, "Don't you hate him? Don't you want to put spells and curses on him?" And it was, I wish him to be well and happy far away from me. He will pay for everything he did. I don't have to be a part of that. His actions have reactions, and I don't have to be around to see it. So we went through many years of almost 30 years of not seeing each other or anything, whatever. He passed away this past Memorial Day. His end was not good, not good.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't pretty. It was very difficult. And the one son we have together, who he abducted, Jonathan, when he was 12, and I found Jonathan about 2 years ago.
Wow.
So we've been rebuilding.
Wow, that's a lot.
And Jonathan was told by his dad, "Your mom didn't want you." So when I found him, it was this, "But you did want me." Oh my God. So when he told his dad, "Mom found me," his dad went insane. And Jonathan questioned his father, and his father had no time to prepare an answer. And he said, "Well, yes, I did take you." So now we're doing this whole repair thing. And Jonathan got to spend 2 days with his dad before his dad crossed over. And he said, "Ma, it was wild because he told me all the things he did." And I said, "I'm so sorry."
Better to
Because
know.
a lot of people, as they're leaving the physical body, want to dump their garbage on who's ever left behind. Which,
They're afraid of St. Peter.
yeah. And
I will tell you this, though. That is very triggering for me, not so much personally.
it's really a disgust. When you are ready to pass, please do not lay your stuff.
Well, no, I
on
mean, even
anyone.
the turning a child against a parent by lies and stuff.
It's horrible.
That hits a little bit home
Yeah.
for me in some ways. But may you twist and turn, writhe and burn, till you do right by me, till you do right by me.
Yeah, there's another one I don't remember it verbatim.
See, I can't.
And
right.
it's
I am a feminist.
he
can't bear
definitely paid the price, and probably still is on the other side, paid the price to be surrounded by the children from his previous marriage and Jonathan, who finally saw him for who he is, for who he chose to be. Because we always have choices. Do you want to take which road, A, B, C, D? Because we are given this beautiful freedom of choice. You know, I have to be my authentic self, especially at my age. I would be so uncomfortable being a phony. I can't do it.
Well,
I don't want.
authenticity
Why would you want to?
Authenticity is the only way through right now.
Yeah.
But what you're feeling may not always be so authentic. Right? So people are like, this is how I feel. It's like, this is how you feel right now. Take a nap, you might feel better.
It's temporary.
Later.
Everything is temporary.
But, you know, I am not a quantum physicist. I don't make me do math if it can be avoided.
I will not. We'll leave that to Monty Farber.
Thank you. But there is this thing that they keep showing me over and over and over again about holographic reality and quantum. And you see a lot of this in movies, right? In the DC universe and the Marvel universe about different variations that every time one of you says yes, another one of you says no, and the universe splits in half again. It's been doing it forever. So they said to me, Mark, if you pull yourself out of the game, because they call it a game, this is a video game, all the choices are programmed. All the choices are programmed. Like in a video game, you don't start rewriting code once you're in the game. So we do have the free will, but the free will tends to be love or fear. That's it. Truth or illusion. That's it. Heal or wound. Myself, somebody else. And because we are all one, and here's the, to me, the most important thing. The more you heal you, the more you're helping to heal everybody.
Thank you.
And that's what keeps me from feeling powerless in this world, because we've been so identified with masculine, and I'm not talking men when I say masculine, or only women when I say feminine, but the idea of the rational, the logical, the mathematical, one half of the brain, this half of the brain, I think, yeah. But the other half is the internal, the yin, the feminine. So the sensitivity part. Because I was told, oh, you're so sensitive growing up. You're so emotional. I made a career out of it. And I could read people for filth from across the planet.
Yeah.
But that was not easy. And I certainly have learned that the only way out is through. I had somebody message me online on one of those lovely little apps that exist right now for men to meet men. Nice guy. Seems like a nice guy. I'm not going to rag on him. He seemed very, very lovely. But he was like, I'm in so much pain. I broke up with my lover of 5 years and I need somebody. I was like, honey. I go, no. The only way out is through. I goes, you want to use people? And this was a lovely conversation. This was not adversarial in any way. And I sent him a link for BetterHelp.com. I was like, BetterHelp.com. You need to talk to somebody. He's like, can you help me? I'm like, yeah, but you need to go to a regular counselor first and talk this out.
Like we talked before the show. If you have an illness, you do need to see whether it's a naturopath or an allopathic. You know, you need to do something.
Well,
we only have 2 minutes left of an hour. Can you believe that?
This went very fast, and not a card hit the table. So let's finish us up, babe.
Finish us up. So, how do people find you, my darling?
Oh, hi, camera. Drawing the Circle at gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, Mark Angelo Lyons in Holbrook. I'm on Patreon / Drawing the Circle. Drawing the Circle on YouTube. Pretty much everywhere. There's a Mark Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, private secret Facebook group.
Okay.
But otherwise, just reach out or call her. She'll hook you up.
And I'll hook you up. And I thank everyone for supporting the show, watching the show, talking about the show. And we have to talk about this after the show.
Sure.
I want to do a Zoom thing with you, talking about energy and communicating with plants, et cetera, et cetera.
Easy enough. I do it every day.
Okay.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being
I love coming.
on. I just love having you here. The hour goes so quickly.
Yeah.
And you all know how to find me. Sacred Feather Healing Arts, Phoenix Redhawk. The office is 631-591-2056. Yes, it's half in English, half in French. And I did it so long ago, I don't even remember what I said in French. Do random acts of kindness. Because you know what? It magnifies. It's that little pebble in the pond. And when you do something kind for someone else, paying it forward, it does come back for you tenfold. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Inhale peace, love, kindness. Let it fill every cell of your being. And as you slowly exhale from your mouth, like you're blowing bubbles, spread that love and all those beautiful blessings to everyone. And that breath travels further than you could ever imagine. Thank you. May the blessings be. Aho, Oma Takwasi, all our relations. Thank you again so much. Thank you, my love, for being here.
Always an honor.
Always wonderful.